You ready?
Jeez. Yeah. Welcome
to
Those Two Chicks with a podcast. I love how I always have to. I have to. Like, once we get our YouTube going, I'll be like...
People won't be able to watch us.
No,
they move around.
They'll literally hate us. So, hey, guys. It's Jordan.
And Emma Grace.
And Maisie's here as our guest. This is going to be the last episode. Well, maybe she'll come back later. I don't know. But she's 8. So... We're trying to keep it more PG, but it doesn't happen because I can't stop swearing. And it's also about murder.
Right.
Well, this one's not.
No.
But she's heard a lot of murder. But you know what it is? We're preparing her. Emma has something to share with us.
Okay. So I'm going to play an audio clip from my mother. And I made a comment that my mom, who's also named Miss Mary... From the Mary McKnight episode. This is from the Mary McKnight episode. My mom tends to have these sound effects, and apparently I got it wrong.
You made her sound a little cuckoo bananas.
Yeah, so she recorded a disclaimer, and I'm going to play it for you, okay? I can't believe I'm doing this.
Good afternoon. This is Mary Kospchik, the mother of Emma Grace, and kind of like a mother to Jordan.
True.
Those two chicks with a podcast. Well, I listened to their last podcast when Emma Grace was telling the story about Mary McKnight, and I just said to Emma, I don't scream all the time when I hear scary stories. It's only when I watch them. It's when it's dark at night and my surroundings are dark and the music's loud, and then all of a sudden someone's going to jump out at you. Well, yes, of course, I would respond with Tourette's.
She acts like it's really normal.
Say a swear word or two, but I am truly frightened. I am in the moment. And I do act like I got shot because it hurts me when someone gets hurt like that. So yes, I'm going to respond. And it's not when I'm listening to the story. So I said, Emma, you need to make that clear because I don't do that. And she said, well, record yourself. So then she goes on and says, Mom, we're getting ready to record, so you need to do your thing on whatever this is called. And I said, fine. And so then she sends me a screenshot of how to do it. Like, I don't know how to do it. Okay? Just because I don't have a podcast doesn't mean I don't know how to use technology. Okay, I don't know all of technology, but most of it I can figure it out. And I think that Kathy, who is Jordan's mother, and I would be an excellent podcast bombers to come visit your studio in your fancy home sometime when we can share stories about Emma and Jordan. Because, oh boy, do we have a lot. All right, you girls, have a great podcast, and I'll be tuning in. Love you.
She's a great storyteller.
Hold on, there's more.
Yeah, she's a great storyteller. And she'd always like how animated she is. Yeah. But she'd do this like reading books to me as a kid. Mm-hmm. She's very good at it. Yeah. However, after she sent that, she sent another one. And she says, she said, the first is my disclaimer, and the second is a disclaimer for my disclaimer.
Here we go.
And then here you go.
Disclaimers. I need to add that despite the fact that I might shout out and fright and say repeatedly one cuss word, and I meant no offense to those who suffer from Tourette's. However, I never, ever come close to using the cuss words that Jordan uses on her Two Chicks with a Podcast episodes. So, just so you know, I'm not a cusser in general. I'm not like, not at all. I can't compete with Jordan. No.
She says that.
Yeah.
However, she does swear. Like, she swears more than...
Does she?
Yeah.
I just say the really bad ones, and I think that's what gets... Mm-hmm. I do. I don't know. Who decided what words were bad and what weren't? Who?
Mary.
I don't know. And it's funny. Did I ever tell you my mom's, like, really bad at swearing? Like, bad at swearing. Mm. Like, she'll drop something and go, oh, crap, shit, darn. That is literally what my mom will do. Mm. So... maybe I got it partially from her. I don't know. Maybe. But you know what? I like my sentence enhancers. Not everybody has to use them. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. You do you. But, yeah, sorry. I swear a lot. So, yeah. Thank you, Mary.
Yeah. Love to have her on the podcast.
Oh, for sure.
We won't call her. We're not calling her. Actually, she did tell me. She goes, and I heard that. I heard Jordan whisper that.
I know she commented that on Facebook, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
And then I play it back, and you can hear, like, we're not gonna go. She's
and
the
it seems
best.
like Emma, every episode you do has someone named Mary or something close to Mary. You just had a Martha and Mariah,
Yeah.
and you had 2 Marys before.
I did.
All
I don't
right.
think I have one now. You're good.
Yeah, me neither. So it's a What the Fuck Tales, guys. Yay!
Yes.
What the Fuck Tales are my favorite, I think.
Mm-hmm. They're fun.
They're just fun. They're short. They're good for getting you ready for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And they can be about anything. We do like conspiracies, aliens, ghosts, different stuff.
I
like
love the ghosts one.
that.
We
Me
have
too.
to do.
We're gonna do a spooky one soon, guys. Don't worry.
Mhm.
Well, today we're gonna be talking about time slips,
Yeah.
which I found pretty interesting.
So I'm gonna start with the definition of it.
Okay.
And then I have a few examples, okay? The definition of a time slip is a paranormal event where people on their own or in a group inexplicably travel through time by unknown means or unknown reasons. And I found one article that more people believe in the idea of a time slip rather than the concept of time traveling.
That's me.
Which I do too.
Fully.
I do too. I think when I hear someone saying, "Oh, I did time travel" or whatever like that,
Yes.
I'm like, okay,
I don't
sure.
think it's like you're going in like that Willy Wonka machine and you can just,
Exactly.
you know what I'm talking about?
I think it's just an elevator.
Yeah, it is.
It's not a
But
time
that's what I
machine.
imagine. But that's what I imagine a time machine would look like. Like you'd be like,
Gotcha.
I don't know.
When people time slip, that makes more sense. I mean, it's
does.
still crazy. Okay, I get that more. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't mean to, it happened.
But I think for me, because I believe more, which is kind of silly because I guess time machine would be more on the science end. But to me, I believe more in like the paranormal,
Yeah.
parallel universes, kind of, stuff like that.
Sorry,
So
I need to take a drink of my
take
2
a little
drinks.
sippity sip.
I always have to have 2 drinks or more.
I'm pissed because
Why?
I was gonna have 2 drinks, remember? And I went to the gas station. I don't drink caffeine, but I drink pop, sometimes, which I shouldn't. But anyway, I wanted to get a caffeine-free Diet Coke.
Okay.
Of course not. Of course they don't have that, which it's so hard to find caffeine-free Coke or Pepsi or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. I just
There's
stopped drinking it.
lemonade.
I didn't want lemonade. So then I saw they had orange Fanta. So I was like, okay,
It's Fanta.
Fanta.
it's Fanta.
It's
Okay,
Fanta.
tell me. Listen, in that song, do they go, Wanta, Wanta, don't you wanna Fanta? No, it's wanna Fanta, don't you wanna Fanta? You know what I'm talking about?
No, it's Fanta.
Okay, but it's Fanta. It's literally Fanta.
No, it isn't.
Okay, let us know in the comments. Fanta or Fanta? How many drinks do you prefer?
Because I like to have my water and something
And a fun
fun,
drink.
and then like an energy thing. Like
Yeah.
whether that's I mean, for me it's like either a tea or
Yeah.
calf coffee, but still.
Yeah.
At
Like
least
a hot drink.
I
can
have
get
to
too
have
cold.
a variety at all times.
Me too.
And
I
everyone
agree.
always makes fun of me, but I think it's necessary.
I'm the same way. So they can go suck it. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of.
So I have some examples of a time slip.
Okay.
There is a photo from 1941 of a group of people by the bridge in British Columbia in Canada. And in this photo, you see a group of men in their 1940s suits and hats, okay? But there's one guy in the photo that is dressed modern. Now, their version of modern, as an example, was 2010.
Okay.
But still modern.
Yeah.
And they couldn't debunk it.
Oh, so it's like actually, do you have this picture or can I look it up?
This is it zoomed in. It was a farther away shot.
I've seen that.
Oh, that's weird. Hold on, let me come over by you.
Okay.
I've seen that.
That is insane. Show me the far away. How do you Photoshop that?
I know. So this is the normal. He does not fit in.
That is crazy. Because for me, at first, I was like, oh, it's probably something that someone Photoshopped.
It doesn't look
No,
photoshopped.
that's...
And sometimes they're good
Yeah.
photoshopped, I will admit, and you can hardly tell, but something's off.
That's
That one's
crazy.
pretty good. Okay, so another example is from a movie called The Circus, and it's a 1928 Charlie Chaplin film. During the movie, you can clearly see a woman walking across the camera talking on her cell phone. Again, this was filmed in 1928. Now, I will say, a lot of people believe it could be an ear trumpet she was holding. And if you don't know what an ear trumpet is, it's a type of hearing aid that was used. It's a logical answer, but it's not as fun.
No.
So I'm like, no. She was talking to herself.
I think I've seen this. Is she outside?
Yeah, that she
Yes.
walks across and she's like this.
Yes.
She's dressed not in modern clothing.
Right.
Like, I think I would have been more into it, like, oh, yeah.
Also, like, if she was doing a time slip, how would her cell phone be working?
Well, that, too.
Yeah.
I've always questioned, I wasn't sure how that would look
Yeah.
on there, but
Interesting.
also,
Oh.
the last one is pretty famous. It's the Eleanor, Jourdain, and Charlotte Moberly I'm sure I'm butchering those names.
Okay.
But in 1901, these two claimed to have slipped through time into a pre-revolutionary time in France. They were out for a walk in the gardens and they crossed this rustic bridge and they found themselves in an unknown area. It was then when everything seemed unfamiliar. People were wearing weird clothing, and there was a band playing music that they'd never heard. After this walk, Eleanor and Charlotte were never able to find that part of the garden again. So they asked this groundskeeper where the part of the gardens was located, and they said it's no longer there, but it hasn't been there since the French Revolution.
Wow.
And the bridge that they used
Yeah.
was used by Marie Antoinette and was demolished decades ago.
Ooh.
So the strange part about all of that is that Charlotte saw a woman in the garden and she seemed familiar but had no idea. Mm-hmm. So fast forward a year later, they're just like, maybe it was just some ghost. They were trying to think that maybe something happened.
Yeah.
They were ignoring it. However, a year later, Charlotte sees this portrait of a woman and Charlotte immediately recognizes her as the woman she saw in the garden that day.
Yeah.
The woman in the painting was Marie Antoinette.
Oh! I don't know
So-
why that one gives me chills.
We really don't know what they witnessed that day.
Yeah.
Some maybe think
just
that
gives me
there
chills.
was a reenactment that was happening that day
Ah.
as an option. But they're like, again, where's that bridge then?
I was
You said
just
it was
about
demolished.
to say, how do you even part of a garden?
Well, yeah, and they're
Yeah.
like, no, that hasn't been there for a while.
That's nuts. Two people experiencing it together. You can't say like, oh, one just had hallucinations. It was
Right.
both people. They saw the same thing. Unless you could say these two people were like in cahoots and just wanted attention. But I don't think someone could make that up in like 1901.
Yeah, it
Because
was very...
time slips wasn't it wasn't like a thing where it's like, have you ever heard of this? I mean,
Well,
I
and
don't
someone
think.
said even that, like, after Eleanor and Charlotte couldn't explain it, they tried to debunk themselves, even.
Yes.
Like, they were like, maybe we just saw something, or something was happening that day, and they
Yeah.
couldn't explain it, but then the painting happened, they're like, maybe time slipped.
Ah, that's so crazy. And I don't know. I think it just is like crazier to me that like, oh, I possibly saw a historical figure. Like, ooh, that just gives me chills. I don't know. So my story is going to take us to Liverpool. Now, Liverpool is supposedly a hotspot for paranormal activity in general, but more specifically time slips. Now, there's a street in the heart of the city that's called Bold Street, and that's where a lot of these hotspots happen. So they think of these things like a window into another time, and you just happen to walk through it and you don't realize it. Now, there have been numerous cases, but I want to tell you about one of the more famous ones. And it takes place in 1996. A man and his wife were shopping on Bold Street and had split up for some reason or another. They wanted to go to two separate stores. And actually, I think that the man was coming from a store that was just like a street over. Okay, so his wife was already on Bold Street. She was heading towards a bookshop named Dillon's. And the man was at a record shop just up the other street. And he said he would meet her back at the bookshop when he was done in about 20 minutes or so. So finally he starts heading back, and he said as soon as he crossed into Bold Street, everything went quiet. Like the weirdest quiet he's ever experienced. Just unsettling. No ambient noise around you, no birds, no people talking, whatever. And this is a busy street. Suddenly, because he's crossing the street as this happens, a van that looked like it came from the 1950s comes hurtling towards him, and he just barely gets out of the way. And it's blaring its horn at him. It's going really fast, but he did notice that it said the word Kaplan's on the side. Like it was, now he crossed the road once it was safe this time, and he noticed that Dylan's bookstore was no longer there. Instead, the storefront had a sign saying Crips over its two doors. Okay, and he walked to the window and he saw no books displayed, only women's clothing. So weird, and they've obviously been here multiple times before. He doesn't think he just happened upon the wrong store. He knows this is Dylan's bookstore. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we turned around because he was obviously a little weirded out, and he noticed that the people on the street, instead of wearing 90s attire, they were dressed like the 40s and 50s.
Oh.
Like fancy, like he said it was like Vogue from like the 50s.
Okay.
So
yeah.
interesting. He was beginning to realize that he had somehow traveled back in time when he did notice a girl wearing 90s clothing heading towards what would have been Dylan's. She also had a bag from a store that the man knew, so she was carrying a modern shopping bag with her. And so he decided to go in right after her. And as soon as they both crossed into the doorway into the store, it turned back to the bookstore. And the girl was ahead of him, so he grabbed her by the arm and he said, "Did you see any of that?" And she said she was just confused because she had thought she was walking into a new women's clothing store. And he said to her, or he said she just like shook her head and chuckled, like she just thought, oh, I'm silly me, what a mistake. So I don't know if maybe she just didn't notice everything else going on around her, like when people dress different. She just thought, oh my gosh, there's a new clothing store, I'm just gonna go in there. And it was weird, it just all of a sudden was a bookstore. So maybe she thought she just, I don't know. So when he found his wife, he told her what had happened, and she said she did not notice anything strange, but she did say that before Dylan's bookstore there was a women's clothing shop named Cripps in that location, and the husband didn't know. It's not like he just knew this and he just came up with this in his head. He didn't know, because this store was in like the 50s.
It's creepy.
I know. And they also found that there was a business in the area named Kaplan's during the same time frame. So, and this isn't even the only account from this street. So could there just be windows in time? Does it have something to do with the location? Like, you know, we don't know. Maybe there's some type of energy in that area. You know, you don't know. And I just think if it's happening to all these people, you know, it's kind of interesting to look at. And I know these things seem so far-fetched, but like, I just wonder if there's any scientist who could do some experiments to figure it out. They do know that energy is a real thing. Like, we have energy and it cannot be destroyed, right? And, you know, there's theories about parallel universes. There's all these different theories. What if it is a true thing and we just don't know? Honestly, that seems more explainable than just everyone's having the same type of hallucination.
Well, yeah,
I feel like
it
I
seems
sound crazy
weird.
like Joe Rogan podcast. But really, though, it's just, I don't know, it's fun to think about. I love these kinds of things.
No, it's creepy. I mean, I don't even know what I would do. I guess...
I'd be like,
I guess my first thing is
like
that
a 50s dance.
I'd want to find someone, quickly be like, do what year is. If something's off, like, I guess I just wouldn't want to waste time because I don't know how long it will last. I would just want to be like, what year is it, or whatever.
Yes, just ask somebody and just, or maybe, too, maybe it is, because some people think it is, like, paranormal. Like, maybe you just somehow, not technically time traveled, but you're seeing the past. All these people have passed already or whatever. That gives me more chills. Because that, just creeps me out. But, you know, maybe they wouldn't even see you because you're the ghost. And some people even said, what if that's what ghosts are? They just are someone who time slipped. You know, I mean, I don't know if that's really possible because some people have hauntings that go on for years and years.
Sure.
But, you know, if something just weird happens, all of a sudden you know, you feel like someone's watching you. What if someone time slipped?
True.
Ooh, doesn't that just creep you out?
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
I know. That creeps me out more than actual, like, ghost stories. I don't know why.
I think it's just because it happened to people that have, like, such detail about stuff.
Yes.
So, like, yes, a door slamming, and that's terrifying in its own way.
Yeah.
But someone just experiencing this, and everyone going, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think that's what creeps me out more. Because, like, if you said this door slammed on their own, everyone's going to say, oh, we have a ghost in your house, or something like that. Yeah, but when you say... I walked and everything was a different time period and now these things aren't there or names have changed and the facts, because the history that they have, like, it used to be a women's clothing shop.
There's history behind it.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that the fact that you might not search up, because I don't know, I'm not one to look at an old storefront and be like, did you know before it was...
Oh, me neither. I couldn't even
Taco
tell you.
Bell, it was.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell
Pharmacy.
you. Like, yeah, people just don't usually know that offhand.
No.
You know? So, I don't know. And, you know, I don't know. It's just, there's so much possibility there.
And it could be, people just wanted to scare people and
you
have a good story, but...
I don't know.
I don't know. It just seems odd.
Also, how weird is it that it's happening a lot in Europe?
Yeah. And what's going on in Europe?
Maybe it's where it's located. You know, a lot of people think, I don't know why they think this, but a lot of people think, like, the North and South Pole are, like, portals, too.
Oh.
And, like, what if it is based on location? What if it's based on, like, a magnetic field? What if it's you know, there's all these different kind of crazy things that could be possible. I think it's just, I don't know. I love talking about stuff like this. And you've seen the Nicolas Cage one, right?
Yes.
That one I was like, really? Come on, guys. I mean, obviously, some of this stuff is a little silly. There's this picture. I don't know who the guy is. I could look it up for you guys. I'll post it on the Instagram or something. But it's just a man who looks like Nicolas Cage, and everyone's like, oh, Nicolas Cage time traveled. And it's like, I don't know. Pictures like that just look like people can do crazy things with Photoshop these days. But that picture... was creepy. And what if that guy didn't even notice?
Well, it doesn't look like he really noticed.
What if he time slipped and just like, boop, it was just real quick?
And my only thing, too, I looked at it, And I thought about, like sometimes more of like elderly people, they seem to dress a little fancier and everything like that. So I'm wondering, like, what if it was a photo that it was just people, because it's a bunch of older people and then him.
So you think like it is do you think it's a modern photo and they just made it black and white?
That's what I'm wondering.
Like maybe it was a guy who was just at like a reenactment kind of thing too?
Well, that or like, what if he just got out of a family event or something. Like people that dress.
Thing, but those look like older fancy clothes. Like
they do.
Me, the way that guy was dressed, like he had a logo shirt that to me looked like a skater kind of shirt.
Yeah.
To me, that'd be more like 90s, early 1000s. Mm-hmm. And the people that were dressed fancy, it looked like older.
Oh, they do. I don't. It's either great Photoshop or something.
Photoshop or maybe reenactment. Mm-hmm. But also, for the people who have studied this photo, wouldn't they be able to find if there was a reenactment?
Well, yeah.
I feel like
but then
they'd be like, oh, this is from this festival, or this is from this. Like, those are usually
I know. And I also look like,
things.
how many reenactments do you know that take place in the 40s?
Yeah.
But the one I really don't believe as much is the Charlie Chaplin one. Just because of the, like, she's dressed as part of that 1928 film. Like, she has, like, the fur coat.
What
like,
if it's a woman who, like, had to blend in?
Right,
why would she be using her cell phone on the street? Like, I feel like more people would be like, what?
But, like, also these time slips don't seem that long. So it's like, she's like,
true.
I'm gonna go blend in real quick.
Change my clothes. Yeah, because that guy, he immediately just crossed the street and went into a store and it was over.
Right.
Like, it's a slip.
Yeah,
they call it that for
not
a reason.
Sound...
It's quick.
That's where I'm almost like, if I can communicate, I want to, just so I can have that confirmation.
I don't know. That terrifies me, though, because I was reading on a Reddit board, and all these people were like, I've opened myself up to where I'm now possibly experiencing these things. Because, like, some people, like, meditate and do all these things, and they say, like, that makes them more open to it. And I'm like, bitch, I ain't doing that, because that scares me. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys think time travel is possible?
I don't know.
Because they also say, too, like, legit time travel, like in a time travel machine, we'd never be able to get there and still be intact. Because you know what they say, you have to travel at, like, the speed of light or whatever to time travel. Thank you, Back to the Future. But, like, we'd be mush if we could even go that fast. You know?
But also, I always act like all these intense things are going to happen to us, and we do not live in that kind of area.
No.
Like,
no.
It seems like Europe has a lot going on.
Yeah, but then I was thinking, too, like, Europe has such a more, like, rich history.
Yes.
Not saying there hasn't been people in the Americas, because there has, and we need to talk about that a little more.
Yeah.
But I just feel like Europe, I don't know, I just feel like they have more...
Well, and they still take care of their historic...
They do. All the buildings
and everything
are still, all the buildings look so old because they are. Mm-hmm. So what if that does carry some sort of energy? What if it is paranormal?
I'm sure it does.
And you know how they say, like, things can play on loops, like... People get stuck in loops. What if you just happen to witness a loop and it's all of these people who think they're still just living their lives, but no.
But you kind of look at it too. Maybe I'm sure there are some big different. Like that guy noticed, like everything looked a little different. But maybe you start noticing the things, but not as much. Yeah. Because they do take such great care of it. I mean, we have so many buildings, even from our hometown. Yeah. They're gone.
They're gone.
They demolished them a long time ago.
And they only built them in like the 20s or something.
Yeah. But you have a lot. Like, I'm sure New York would look so much different if it was in a time slip and maybe more people would notice. Yes. Whereas them, like, you take downtown Italy or anything, it looks like a lot of buildings are, I mean, they're beautiful still, but...
It just makes me think how things can attach to objects, and those have been around for so long. God only knows, like, if you're in a building that's been around for 500 years, what if there's something still in that building that's from 500 years ago, way up in the attic? But yeah, I don't know. I thought this would be such an interesting episode. This was fun. See, I love episodes like this where we can just hypothesize, like we're some freaking
But I hate these episodes too, because every single time, like, I believe it now.
Dude, I will go down
after a week, Emma.
You sound crazy. Listen, did I ever tell you that one time where I straight up thought that I heard like an alien spaceship in my house?
What?
I'm not even kidding.
Your house now?
Yeah.
Currently? Huh.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was talking to her, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm in my bathroom and I just hear, for real, because I was like talking about something, like I was talking about aliens, and it all of a sudden went and it vibrated my house.
Was it the bathroom fan?
No, I don't have a fan.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes, I do, but it doesn't go It sounds mechanical. Like, I wish I could find it for you. Like, it doesn't sound like anything in a house. Like, it sounds like technology.
Did someone, like...
Aliens! Okay, anyway.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting, though. I think it more so is like a natural thing.
Okay.
I do not think that we have the ability to time travel. I think it could just happen.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if it's necessarily like you actually time travel. To me, I feel like it's more of like a paranormal thing.
Yeah, no,
That's
I
what
get
think.
that. I think that's why a lot of people believe it.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just in a weird way. Even though I'm a very scientific person, I lean that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not very religious. I more just lean towards like, you know, things we can prove. That I feel like is more paranormal. That makes more sense to me.
And I just think sometimes people say, no, it doesn't exist, to maybe because they're scared themselves if it did.
Maybe.
You know?
I think it'd be pretty cool.
I say just let it happen.
Can you tell me, if you could time travel, when would you time travel? Why not?
Honestly, anything 50s or before.
50s or before, yeah.
I would like to just see that big of a change. Because honestly now, especially with fashion, there's so many people wearing 70s clothing now. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
I think I'd know.
Yeah.
But I want to see that. I
know. It's hard for me because I would want to feel the vibe of every, like, decade. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think it'd be cool to be in the 70s just to see what life is like.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the 80s, because everyone talks about 80s was, like, the best time. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that'd be interesting. But for me, too, I'd rather go back further.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to just witness some point in the 1800s, even though everyone was dirty and shit. But I just think it'd be fun just to see how they lived and just how they acted more so. Because, like, yeah, we can talk about history all the time, but when you go back to before there were videos or anything like that, we don't really know how people sounded when they interacted with each other. Right. And to me, I almost want to see how, like, humans connected and what they talked about, and I don't know.
But I know, because of how unlucky I am, I'm in a time slip, and it's going to be like the prehistoric cavemen, dinosaurs, and that's my time slip.
That'd be cool, though, too, because really, if you think about that far back, we do not know what happened. This was a fun episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our stories. But let us know how many drinks you drink. Was that the other episode?
I don't know.
How many drinks do you drink? Tell us, what time would you travel to? Let us know. Do you think time slips are possible? Do you think they're paranormal? Yeah,
I would like to know.
You can email in and we can read off your email, or, you know, we can go over Facebook comments, whatever.
Yeah. Next week
would
be your true crime.
Oh, yes, it will be my true crime. So,
we're getting into March.
Oh, God, we are in March. This is going to be in
March.
This is March. Okay, so thank you guys for tuning in. As always, follow, subscribe, rate us, please. It helps us so much. Share with your friends if you liked our podcast. All right, we'll talk to you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.